Hello students, welcome back to the class. So the last classes we have discussed about Government of India Act, in which we have discussed that what are the various provisions such as diarchy, bicameral at central level, in state level unicameral, and the size of population is mainly depends, the size of legislative council is mainly depends upon population. Now we will continue the same topic. So Government of India Act. Okay children, and in this we will study about some other provisions as well as we will conclude the topic. Conclusion is also very important. Next we will go forward. So we already discussed that Lord Montagu and Lord Chelmsford, they were responsible for the Government of India Act 1919. So Lord Montagu and Lord Chelmsford, they were mainly responsible for the Government of India Act 1919. Okay, now we will go forward here. What are the various reforms if you talk about it? So one reform is in this provision, okay, we have discussed in the earlier classes that the strength and the membership have increased. The Governor General Executive Council strength have increased from 1 to 3, and the membership of Legislative Assembly have increased to somewhat 140 to 160. Membership of Legislative Council was increased to 60. So here the strength and the representations have increased. Okay, in this provision, Government of India Act the size of assembly have increased, and also representations were given to many more peoples. Here if you see, they granted representations for 6, okay, Anglo-Indians, Christians and Europeans. Okay, so they have granted a separate electorates. So separate electorates are nothing but the list of the voters. They can contest elections separately. So Britishers, what they have granted from this Act 1919, that 6 should separately they should conduct elections. Anglo-Indians, Christians and Europeans, they will have separate electorates. The list of the voters, they were called as electorates. Okay, electorate is nothing but the list of the voters. So they have to vote separately. Okay, separately. Next we'll go forward. This system, according to the Government of India Act 1919, this system, what it's saying that indirect elections. So they contested before that most of the elections were indirect, but they have replaced this indirect elections. Indirect elections were replaced with direct elections. Now in this Government of India Act 1919, before most of the elections were for the local bodies or for any representatives, most of the elections were indirect elections. But now after formulating this act, indirect elections has become direct elections. Now elections are conducted directly. Okay, so this is one point. During that time, the elections, when it was conducted for a very few positions or a very few seats. Okay, most of the seats are highly reserved. So elections are conducted for only few seats, and voting rights, if you see, okay, today if you see, after completing 18 years of age, all the people have right to vote. This is called universal adult franchise. Franchise are nothing but right to vote. Okay, whenever the word will come, franchise, which means right to vote. So the franchise was limited, means right to vote was given to only few section of people. Okay, today if you see, right to vote was extended to many section of the people, but during that time right to vote was given to only few section of people, those who have property, okay, and those who are the taxpayer, only those people have right to vote. Okay, so right to vote was limited to only few section of people, and during that formulated with this act, when it was formulated, Government of India Act 1919, right to vote was given to only few people. Around at this time 14% of people have only right to vote, and this right were given to only the propertied. Propertied are nothing but the people who have property, the people who have more property. So they are the taxpayers. Okay, they will pay the tax to the government. So they are paying the tax, and that's why the government also giving important to them for right to vote. But those who are not paying the tax, those who are the passive citizens who are unable to pay the tax because they have no property, so they have no right to vote. So Government of India Act have given right to vote for only two section of people. Either you should be educated, and either you should be a taxpayer. Educated and taxpayer, both is important. If the person is educated, no. But persons at the same time educated and taxpayers have only right to vote, and this was given to only 14% of people in those days. So this is the second point. Second point means what? Franchise. So right to vote was given to very few section of people, those who are property and those who are taxpayer, they have right to vote. Now I will go forward. There is a provision for statutory commission were appointed, and these commissions are why it was appointed mainly to uplift the working classes. Okay, during that time industries, a couple of industries we can find in India. Most of the industries are textile industries, okay, which were highly concentrated in some part of Maharashtra and Gujarat. And to improve the progress of the workers, statutory commission was appointed. So this, as per this act, Government of India Act, were appointed statutory commission, and these statutory commissions are mainly appointed for the workers and for the progress of workers. The statutory commission has been appointed. So this is also one important provision of Government of India Act. So what is this provision is saying? That they have appointed a statutory commission, and these commissions are appointed only to progress the workers. Okay, that is one point. During that time, if you see, workers are facing many problems, and to develop the workers, these commissions are mainly appointed. Now when we are talking about conclusion, so this is the point. Conclusion will conclude the Government of India Act 1919. How far this act, whether this is favorable, unfavorable. If you take an example, Government of India Act, no doubt this is a landmark enactment in the Constitution. 1919 Government of India Act is a landmark enactment, because from this act they have increased the size, they have increased the representatives of the members and the position. Half of the executive councils can able to work in India. So executive council membership have increased from 6 to 12, 6 to 12 members have increased, 8 to 12 members have increased. So half of the executive council can able to govern in India. So no doubt that Government of India Act is one of the good act, and this act is one of the important act enactment in the constitution of our country. Now in the Government of India Act, when you are talking, most of the powers are vested. Okay, powers are vested at two level. Diarchy system was there. Okay, we have already discussed that powers are vested at two level. At central level they used to have Governor General, and even state level they used to have governor. At central level, who is the head of the country? Governor General is the exercising all the power. At state level we can find governor is appointed at state level. Both are equivalent power in their province. Central level, Governor General exercise more power. State level, governor will exercise the same power. So the powers are vested in between, most powers are vested in between the governor as well as Governor General. Governor Generals are at central level and governor at state level. Now Governor General's children, they have more power. Why? Because he have right. Governor General has right to reject the bill which was formulated in legislature. So whatever the Indian Parliament, most of the legislature consists of Indian peoples. So suppose if Indian peoples have formulated any law, if the Indian peoples have formulated any bill, who have right to reject the bill? Governor General have right to reject the bill. So in certain extent, Government of India Act, still they are giving more favor to the British officers only, because here one point is saying Governor General can reject the bill which was implemented by legislature. Then what is the use of the legislature? So if legislature members have formulated any bill, okay, so if Governor General wanted, he can able to veto or he can able to reject the bill. So this is one thing which is giving more power to the British. And system which are implemented, Diarchy system created failure. So the system like Diarchy system were created failure. What is meant by Diarchy? I said you where the powers are exercised at two level. When the powers are vested in between the two people, that is called Diarchy. So Britishers are exercising the power in reserve category, and other category Indian ministers has given power. So powers are vested at two different level. So here the Diarchy system led failures. Most of the important powers still they have under the control of British government. Defence, laws, all these important things were still under the control of British government, and that's why this act have not given a fruitful result in favor of Indian people at last. So once again we will recapitulate what we have discussed in this class. So first we have discussed that we already have discussed Lord Montagu and Lord Chelmsford, they were responsible for the formulation of Government of India Act to provide some representations and membership to increase. Here if you see that various religions like Sikhs, Anglo-Indians, Christians and Europeans, for them they have granted a separate electorate, the list of the voters. And then we have seen that here the systems were there before that, indirect election. The indirect election systems was replaced with the direct elections. Now whatever the elections are conducted after formulating this act, direct elections. From 1919 onwards, whatever the elections for the local bodies were conducted directly. Now franchise. We have discussed that franchise were, during that time elections were very rare, and that's why right to vote was given to very few peoples. And this franchise means right to vote which was extended to only few people. Those who are property and educated players, they too have only right to vote. Only 14% of people have only right to vote. Okay, those who are property, those who have property and those who are paying tax, only they have right to vote, and those who are educated, they have right to vote. According to the provision of this act, next point we have studied that statutory commission was appointed. These statutory commissions are mainly appointed for the workers, and for the progress of workers, these statutory commissions are appointed. So this act is somewhat favorable for workers. And at last, when we are seeing about conclusion, no doubt Government of India Act have enacted a very landmark in the history of constitution, no doubt. But still the Government of India Act, as per this, most of the power vested at central and state level. Central level the powers are under the Governor General, at state level the power is under the control of Governor. Okay, and Governor General is exercising more power at central level. Why? Because whenever any bills are formulated in legislature and assigned, sign of government, Governor General is very important. So what if the Governor General wanted to veto the bill, he can reject any bill. Okay, he can reject any bill. So that power is under the control of Governor General, whether to formulate the bill or whether to reject the bill. Everything is under control of Governor General. Even though if all the legislative members approve, then also the Governor General has a right to reject the bill. So anyhow, this system which created by this act, this act has created a system which is called Dayaggi system. So Dayaggi system led failure. Okay, so anyhow, some provisions are favorable and most of the provisions are still unfavor, because as per this act, still important powers are under the control of British government. Still the important positions were given to the British government. Important fields like defense, railways, during that time railways, defense, finance, laws and order, everything is under the control of main things were under the control of British's government. So in this act, only the important and favorable thing is statutory commission which are appointed for the workers, and one more favorable is the size of the membership have increased in legislative assembly and legislative council. So these are the favorable for the Indian people. So this is, children, we have discussed about the Government of India Act 1919. Next class we will discuss about Indian Constitution Act 1947. In the next class we will discuss about Indian Independence Act 1947. Thank you very much.